Welcome to the second episode of Cozy Crafternoon, and the third part in a 3-part video series where I'm going to walk you through how to make 3 different 3D paintings of the national parks that you can turn into art for your walls. After you've cut your pieces, line them all up because we're going to create this piece together, and I'll pop in from time to time to give you some pro tips on how to make your masterpiece. I went with a sunset for this painting because we did blue skies for the other 2, but if you struggle with painting gradient skies, add in some striated clouds with different colors to create more of a striped look. This hides the parts of your gradient that didn't turn out exactly the way you wanted while still making it look intentional. I create all of my pieces from the back panel forward, and I paint them in that order too. So my next pro tip is to sketch out the next layer on top so that you only paint where you need to. This way you don't spend time making beautiful details that will just get hidden when they get covered up by the next layer. As we move into the mountains, my next tip has to do with creating the illusion of atmosphere. So I will tend to use lighter, cooler, and less saturated colors towards the back, and I'll use darker, warmer, and more saturated color towards the front, and this highlights the atmosphere that comes with the depth of a 3D piece like this. As we're moving forward to the foliage and you're going through each layer and increasing your contrast, this is how I kind of layer my colors to get you started. So I will create 3 shades for the object that I'm working on, a midtone, a shadow, and a highlight, and then I start in with the midtone. I will go back and forth between adding shadows and highlights until it's in its final form, but I will always add highlights last, and that's kind of how I layer my coloring. Now that your masterpiece is finished, it is time to assemble it all together. So when it comes to assembly, you can do it a few different ways, so feel free to go with what works for you. I tend to gravitate towards foam strips, which I got from Michaels, but you can also opt for draft board boning strips that you cut on your Glowforge as well. One of the things that you'll notice is that the water can kind of warp the artboard just a little bit, so this is the part of the process that corrects that. You can flatten your work between layers to help correct that slight bend, or you can also leave it if it doesn't really bother you. Once it was all assembled, I just added in my cherry proof grade frame and it was good to go. I really enjoyed doing this project with you guys, and I hope that you enjoyed this little mini-series. So please subscribe for more ways to use your Glowforge. If you want to get this file and 2 others, you can go to glowforge.com/cozycrafternoon to get started.